The hygrometer screamed during the VIP tour as the storage door drifted open. A gilded frame leaned in the aisle like a drunk friend, and the Accession tag wasn't ours. I said, "Stop the tour," and the curator smiled as if I'd complimented the lighting. In the corner, the dehumidifier blinked 67%, the kind of number that makes paper curl and registrars swear. We were 10 minutes into showing trustees the backstage magic of the Harbour City Museum of Art History, and the painting at the end of the aisle was both the right size and the wrong everything. Our storage is a concrete cube at 118 Seabright Avenue on the port side of Harbour City, Massachusetts, a building that used to hold frozen fish and now pretends to hold time. We spend more on climate control than we do on parades. On the metal rack where HCMR 1947-11 should have been a 19th century coastal landscape with a lighthouse as thin as a violin string, there was a similar frame with a sticker on the stretcher. Lot 23, Atlantic Estates, 41824. I could taste copper. Our lighthouse had an accession number written in my own clean hand in 2019, and this thing had a red dot from an auction house in Providence. The curator turned to the trustees, voice warm. "Just a temporary loan for a comparison study. Let's move on to textiles." She put a hand on my elbow. I looked at her hand, at the chipped coral polish. I'd liked this woman. I defended her hires and her ideas. She was a star in our small world. PhD from the Courtauld, French mother, foraged mushrooms on weekends, an Instagram that made donors open their wallets like windows. She had a way of standing in front of a painting and making you think quiet was expensive. When she arrived 3 years earlier, everyone at the museum felt taller. We were a river city with salt in its teeth, trying to keep the roof from leaking and the donors from moving to Florida. She brought a show called Salt Silk Atlantic Journeys, and the opening night had oysters and a string quartet that played like they'd been trained in a ship's hold. She raised $1-2 million for a new gallery and a digital catalogue with brushed gold buttons. She rigged up stakeholder breakfasts where plumbers sat next to professors, and she charmed them both. The first red flag was that she liked every room too much. The second was that she could say Accession like a lullaby. I'm the collection manager, 19,000 objects, 92 aisles of shelves and sliding racks, a barcoding system I coaxed into usefulness, and a label maker I would save from a fire. Before the curator came, my job was part registrar, part mount maker, part therapist for anxious donors whose grandmothers had dusted things we now lock in boxes. After she came, my job got glossier and weirder. She wanted soft launches. She wanted moments. She wanted TikToks showing a 1770 sampler breathing in stable humidity. I didn't mind. I like telling people why fiber needs darkness. The first time she made me nervous, it was over paper. In December 2023, a bleak month for non-profits, the board voted to sell 5 minor works from our study collection. 2 repetitive harbour views, a chipped amphora, a portrait nobody had loved since 1952, and a watercolour that had bled into its own mat. The proceeds would go toward conservation, an uncomfortable truth that registrars live with. We listed them at Atlantic Estates in Providence because the curator's friend there could do us a favour on fees. I prepped the Accession forms, condition, donor letters, accession numbers in the left margin like bones. Full story in the channel below.